guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my girlfriend Aurora, and we are going to be watching The Haunting of Hill House Season 2. It's actually called The Haunting of Bly Manor. So this is actually like a separate season entirely. So it's not even related to the first one. I was going to say we could talk about the first season, but it's not even related to the first one. So we were just talking about before I started recording that it seemed like some of the actors from the first season weren't even in this season. I don't know if that's confirmed because I have no idea. I didn't even watch the full trailer for this season because I didn't want to be spoiled about anything.
Neither did I.
You didn't watch the full trailer. So this is an entirely new storyline. They're kind of doing what American Horror Story did with every season. They don't replace the actors, they just give them new roles. So I don't know if this even takes place before Hill House, after Hill House. It's clearly in the same universe. I just don't know when it takes place. It's an entirely separate story. So, yeah, unless you have any pre-episode thoughts.
I just want to know if, like, Theo's in it.
Yeah, that's it. That's your pre-episode thought.
That's really it.
So, yeah, we're not really going to talk that much before the episode. I'd rather just get into it. So, without further ado, let's get into episode 1.
We already saw Luke.
So wait, it says based on the work of Henry James. Was that the same author as Haunting of Hill House? Because Haunting of Hill House was based on a book.
Yeah, I didn't even read the book.
I think it was something Jackson that made the first book. So this might be based on a completely different story.
We'll have to do some research. It's a completely different house, right?
Completely different house. I mean, this wasn't even under Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. Like, it was labeled as an entirely different show.
I have a story.
Oh god, here we go.
Here we go.
Does she own the manor?
Regarding his young nephew and niece, who are in need of a new pair.
Oh!
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Well, I've fallen quite in love with London.
Good.
Haven't quite mastered tea yet. I'm used to it coming in a pitcher, full of ice cubes. Well, it's a whole different thing here.
Yes, it is.
Is that alcohol?
You've no previous experience as an au pair.
Okay.
There is a live-in housekeeper, but the children would be your responsibility and yours alone.
A full-time position in a beautiful country manor to two exceptional children. Seems to me an easy position to fill. At least as you've described. What is the catch? That
Why
really
does
is
she
the
want
question.
it then?
So
If,
bad.
like, she's literally
He's trying
saying
to sway
there's
her
a catch.
away, yeah. Also, they're all so different. Like, all these characters, like the dad, the mom, I don't even feel like they were the actors from last season.
I know,
That's
and I
crazy.
love how, like, they changed, like, the way they talk and
Yeah.
That was the most awkward job interview of my entire life. So, I think we should toast to it, Mr. Wingrave.
I wouldn't
Or do
do
you
that.
prefer it in your tea?
Oh, damn, she called his ass out.
You can tell me now.
This is her apartment now?
Yes, this is after the bar.
Fucking take that job right now.
Yeah, it's also why she probably
I got
wants
a
because it said it was
trial
live-in.
position,
Yeah,
at least
of
through
course.
into the summer.
She's covering her
You
mirrors.
can reach me when I get to the house.
Do you think it's because
She's
of that
super-
thing that she saw in the car?
When I have
That
a
monster
number.
thing? Maybe
I
it
think that
follows
she's
her?
maybe just a superstitious person.
She's going to work at a very superstitious...
Oh!
Our minds. I think she has something like, I don't know.
She's
Like,
clairvoyant or...
she's got like one of those like bad energies that follow her or something.
Yeah, but she didn't have a reaction to the thing in the car window or in the mirror. Like, I feel like she would have been like, oh!
But I feel like she's so used to it that she's like, if anything, she welcomes it. This is a flashback, right? It's like she's telling a story.
Yes.
Is this her telling, like her?
Do you think that
I don't know
this is
her name
her
in
younger
this.
self?
Yeah,
That's a good theory.
that's like the first thing I thought of because how else would she know really? If
No, but
she's
she
so-
was British. She was British.
The one you were just singing?
You're Miss
Probably
Clayton.
right.
You must be.
Or maybe
Oh,
she's
you're
a little
so
girl.
Pretty. I told Mars you'd be pretty.
What a gorgeous lake.
Oh, you mustn't. It really is just a smelly old pond. And do you know there are leeches in there? It really is perfectly splendid to meet you.
It's a little scary.
I'm pleased to meet you, my lady.
Oh,
Oh.
well, what a gentleman. And this must be Mrs.
Kids are
Gross.
very British.
Hi.
You think this is the same set as Hill House? I mean, they obviously changed it, but do you think they
This
used the
is
same?
free.
Looks kind of like the same layout.
The paintings are all original and they're perfectly splendid.
She likes that
This
fucking
is
word.
the classroom.
Perfectly splendid.
It's gonna come back or something.
Mine stairs, they're brutal on the knee. And this is where our parents used to live. We don't go in there anymore. It's all covered up.
I'm afraid this brings closed at the moment.
Underneath it all, it's all just perfectly splendid.
She keeps repeating shit. Oh.
Sir? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps knock from now on?
I just wanted to say how happy we are all that you're here.
Why is he like an old
And to
man?
give you this.
I don't know, but it's like very like
Not much.
creepy.
I know.
I thought they were
It's
sweet,
also
but
something to
they're
make you feel more welcome.
They're like very
Thank you.
mature, and it freaks me out a
It's
little
very pretty.
in this context.
I haven't quite figured out tea yet. So?
It's fine, dear.
Dinner is served. Good night, you lovely young lady. And good night to you too, Flora.
Heaven help me, this man.
Enjoy.
So he lives with his mother?
Lives for her more like. That's why I came out from Paris. Quite ill, I've heard.
Maybe she feels well enough to eat, so he has to get home in time to cook for her.
I'm sure you're right, sweetheart.
Hey, you're not gonna eat?
Oh, yeah. I'll have it later.
Okay.
she's gonna go feed to some monster. Stop with the mirror, yo.
Like the staring.
She's not gonna see anything because it's steamy, I assume.
I was wrong.
No.
It's actually fine.
Ah!
Nah. I'm not a fan.
Good night, honey.
I feel like he's not as weird as the sister, Laura.
Really? I think that he's weirder. I feel like he's an old man
You
in
know,
a young kid's
Mrs.
body.
Gross seems to think you should call me Miss Clayton.
Gross. Her name is Gross.
Didn't you like it? The butterfly.
You know, Flora was a little
Which is
upset.
not bad.
I
That
think.
shot.
She's always a little
It's
upset.
killing me.
It's unsettling.
Who are all these?
Hello.
Why, they're dolls, of course.
This looks just like the layout of the house.
It is the house.
Yes, have a lot of dolls. And we are going to learn
Did you
how
see?
to pick them all up before we go to sleep, okay?
That's scary.
Put her back. She stays there.
Of course, there's a creepy dollhouse that resembles the house.
And you're all tucked in. You have to promise me that you'll stay in your room, stay in your bed until morning.
I don't think I can promise that. But it's certainly a good rule for you and your brother
But
to...
you must.
If anyone said that to me, I'd be like, okay.
At least for tonight.
That would be my first
That's
indication that
crazy.
like maybe I shouldn't have taken this job, but also the money and it's a nice house. But is it worth it?
The night found the au pair restless, an emptiness that called out to be explored.
Really?
Really, the first night you're
She
gonna break that rule?
Literally
The first day of night.
You're right.
You were told by the creepy little girl in the creepy house
That plays with the creepy dolls.
to not leave your creepy room and explore the creepy house, and that's what you do.
At night.
Maybe she has like a thing that she doesn't care about it, like she's into that kind of stuff, into ghosts, and
Or maybe she's just...
she's gonna master her cup of tea right now. I don't like the high ceilings either. That's so unsettling.
She leaves that stove
Sleep.
on.
Even sleep. Oh my god, she knows something's gonna happen.
Marley, no. I'm scared. I'm like looking...
Alright, we're good. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Did you know something was gonna happen? Tastes good to me.
Good.
That's all that matters. Now I want a fucking cup of
Oh.
tea.
A midnight snock.
You like tea with or without milk? I like it both.
depends on the tea. English breakfast tea, I drink with milk.
Mhm.
Every other tea that I've ever had, I don't like
Yeah.
milk in it.
What is that? That looks like one of the friggin'.
That looked like one of the dolls. She said...
I just got
Okay.
What
chills.
a beautiful day.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
I'll never get tired of this place, I swear.
It's Luke.
Did we even hear about him, like, Did they even acknowledge him in the interview?
He might be one of the workers on the grounds, but I don't know who. They had talked about Jamie, someone named Jamie. This reminds me of this really terrible movie that came out this past year, I think it was, The Turning.
I've never seen it.
So bad.
They got away from me.
She barely acknowledged her at all. Simply treated her as if she'd always been there.
I saw a guy on the parapet on my way in.
Can't imagine.
Oh, I've not been up there.
Well, why would you?
What
Are you sure
fuck?
you saw someone up there?
Well, we do get ramblers sometimes. People that want to have a look at
That
the
little
gardens.
girl is not
They
subtle.
take liberties, but if 1 minute onto the
I
parapet,
can get up there anyway, not about going through the house. Oh, you must have imagined it, dear.
That's what he
Okay,
said,
you must
though.
have imagined it.
That in the interview, he was like, a lot of imagination there.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not gonna eat anything?
Just here for the company.
You must try
Why is
this.
she not eating?
Oh, I don't.
I feel like she's just like not
Maybe the
human
food.
or something.
You think
She
she's a
doesn't-
monster?
No, not a monster. You don't have to be a monstrous. I really hope Shirley and like
This
feel
is
her.
the parents' wing, and
Yeah.
she's going there.
Yeah.
Like, she's really breaking all the rules and does not give a fuck. She's inviting it.
She's got a thirst for the dark side. I mean, I would be curious too, but I would also just leave. Hello.
Fuck that.
Oh,
Oh, it's her.
I thought it was an old man.
Me too. That's who it looked like.
Miss Jessup? Yeah. She was a bright young thing. She was gone long before she waded into that lake. The lake. Floor, I found her. Now when I hear them cry or scream or yell, oh, it's the most beautiful sound in the world. I'm so sorry. No. It's talisman. It's tiny game of florist to keep us all safe.
What are the candles for?
The dead.
Are there 4 candles lit there?
I think so.
The parents, the old
Jessica.
Jessel,
Jessel.
and then who's the 4th? We don't know yet. Maybe that guy that she saw.
You really are, you know.
I'm what?
Perfectly splendid.
There it is. No.
She kicked
I'm
her.
sorry. Pick these up. I would hate to break.
She got up so quick.
There's an electric fan in Flora's cupboard. I cannot sleep without it, I'm afraid. Would you fetch it for me? I'm awfully sorry.
What the fuck?
I feel like they're gonna.
Open the door.
Do you think that happened because she kicked it?
Maybe they're punishing her?
Open the door.
Oh. Maybe that's her own trauma with mirrors.
I'm so sorry. I'm dreadfully sorry.
Bed.
How long was she
No.
there?
I don't know. She fell asleep. It had to been a while.
Maybe it was to
Please
prevent
sit
her. It was to prevent her from exploring again,
Maybe. Maybe it wasn't to punish her, but to help her.
so she wouldn't leave.
It's under there again.
Fuck that.
Hello.
She's pissed. She is stomping out there.
I mean, I would be too. Are those the kids? It
Weird.
didn't look like the little girl for a second.
I think that's it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Much to talk about in that episode. First, I guess I'll talk about. I feel like her thing with the mirror, with the guy in the mirror, is her trauma. Like her. I don't know what her experience was. I don't know why she's seen that guy in the mirror, but she was dealing with that since she was in the hostel.
Yeah.
So it obviously it would follow her to this house. So she's had some experience with haunting and whatever, and that's why she covers mirrors. So that's the main thing I wanted to address. So that's why I feel like she's unfazed with all this stuff. Like she's very different than any other like I feel female character that we see in horror movies like that are supposed to be afraid when all of this is happening, and I feel like she hasn't really been afraid other than when she was stuck in that closet and she was maybe feeling claustrophobic. And then the mirror happened and she was like more scared. But for the most part, she's like brave as hell. She's unfazed, and they are picking up on that. The kids.
Going back to like the mirror thing, I feel like she, like you said, trauma, but I feel like it was definitely way before the whole hostel thing happened. I feel like she's like had that her whole entire life.
That's what I'm saying.
There's just like an energy, because that's the whole haunting thing. Sometimes bad energies, or if you believe in that, are like attracted to people and they follow them. And I feel like they wouldn't have locked her in the closet if they didn't sense it.
Yeah. You don't think that they were punishing her for kicking the doll over? Because I think it might have been about that too. I think that doll.
Did you see how she just like stood right up?
Yeah, I think you think the doll represents the mom, maybe?
I don't know. How the mom died? What was it?
They didn't say. I don't think they said how the parents died, or unless Miss Gross did, when she was talking.
No, she only.
She was talking about Jessel.
Jessel.
Yeah. She was talking about the old tutor that died by drowning in the lake, and then Flora saw her, and then Flora, I guess the kids were never the same since, but especially Flora, and they were very much focusing on her this episode with the perfectly splendid. That's gonna be have some significance, I don't know what, but she, not even that, she repeated that phrase, but she also repeated other things, like when Mrs. Gross was like, everything is covered, like don't go down this hallway, and she was like, yeah, and everything is covered.
I know, she literally kept repeating everything.
She kept repeating like the ends of the sentences, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. I had like a few theories going in my head as the episode played out. I was like, oh, maybe the kids are the parents. That's why they're so mature and so advanced, and they're just like in these kids' bodies. I don't think that's the case.
I was thinking that too.
That
like,
might be the case.
Their spirit took over almost.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a thing now, but also back to the Lady of the Lake, she said, be careful, don't go out for the Lady of the Lake. Do you think that the Lady of the Lake is Jessel, or do you think that she somehow but like got her to drown in the lake?
Oh, I think that the kids or the house or something, I don't think she just fell in the lake and drowned.
Like the Lady of the Lake. Is it Jessel, or is it another thing that caused Jessel to drown in the lake?
Oh, maybe. Like the bent neck lady? But the bent neck lady was fucking Nell. So
yeah, that was so sad.
I think that was really sad. I don't even want to think about it. I hope this season is just as good as season 1, because reminiscing on season 1, that was just like an incredible episode.
And that man that she saw on top of
Luke,
the whatever.
We don't know what his name is this season, but he was Luke last season.
When they were talking about this man right before Jessel died.
The one who like took some money and left or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like
that's him.
She also said something about like how she died, like was it when he left or something?
Yeah.
But I feel like he might have influenced it, or like he's like just another spirit.
Yeah.
It's giving me like American Horror Story vibes, with like how only like people in the house can see the spirits.
Yeah.
You know?
That was kind of like the first season though. I don't know if they're gonna follow the same exact rules of the first season, because in the first season when you died on the grounds, you stayed there. That was very much so like American Horror Story. So I don't know if that's going to be the case for this, but that would seem to be the case in like any kind of haunting movie though. Like if you die on the grounds, like your spirit would linger wherever you died. So I feel like the Lady in the Lake, if that is Jessel, she'd be lingering the halls. That doesn't explain the thing that we saw in the hallway that was turning.
I know.
Looked like a scarecrow.
But I think that is. Alright.
You think that's the Lady in the Lake?
I think it's the Lady of the Lake. Also, it was in the dollhouse.
Yes. Well, that's also what I wanted to talk about. The Flora has like almost a voodoo doll.
I know.
For every single person, including, what's her name?
Danny.
Is that her name?
It's
Yeah,
Danny.
including Danny. So.
No, I wanted to bring that up too, because it wasn't a theory, but like it's what I was gonna say in the middle of the episode. Like, what's going on with that? Like, what's the whole thing of keeping the one doll under the dresser and everything? Like, is it under the house or something? Do you think?
That's a good theory.
I don't know what that would be.
That's an interesting theory, or just a part of the house that is not accessible. Usually, that maybe Danny will stumble upon.
What if it's actually under the dresser though? Like there's like a whole thing under like a cupboard or a floorboard that's like you could take up and like.
That's a good theory.
There's a whole bunch of voodoo stuff.
That's a good theory. I think paying attention to the positions of the dolls in the dollhouse and what is going on in the dollhouse is going to give us maybe some foreshadowing of like what events are going to happen, because that was the case in, I mean, we've seen this in many horror movies with the dollhouse trope.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind was Hereditary.
Yeah.
Literally predicted events that would happen later in it, and she was making dollhouses of the events that, you know, occurred, which is crazy to me. And that whole movie was filmed as if they were in a dollhouse, as if these characters were in a dollhouse. So maybe that's going to be a big theme this season too.
This little girl might be running the show.
Yeah, I even felt like that with some of the shots that they were doing, like when Danny was talking to Flora, or when Danny was talking to Miles and you saw Flora in the background. I was like, this is like a dollhouse. This is like what I feel would look like if you put a camera inside of a dollhouse. You could see across to the other rooms. There's really no doors. So yeah, I feel like Mike Flanagan, I think the director is, I think he did that on purpose because he very much so pays attention to aesthetics. And I'm pretty sure he directed this season too. He was the director of the first season.
We'll have to look it up to like confirm.
I think we'll look it up. I didn't look at the credits. But then, if he's directing this season, let me just say, I can't imagine that Theo's character would not be in it because that's his wife. Yeah. And she was so attached to the project in the first season, she named her baby Theo. She named her child Theo after, I guess she was so connected to the character. That's and awesome. She loved that name.
I think I remember you telling me about that a while ago.
So I can't imagine, I don't know when this was filmed. Maybe it was filmed, you know, when she needed to take care of the baby or whatever, but I hope she's in it. She was my favorite character last season.
What about Shirley?
And Shirley,
I haven't seen Shirley.
Or Steve. I can't imagine that they wouldn't be in this in some, maybe they had other projects, other commitments.
Yeah, but the whole thing was like to use kind of
all the characters.
I think. Like American Horror Story, not to compare it.
But American Horror Story didn't use every single character in every season.
You're right.
Taissa Farmiga wasn't in the second season. Yeah. And then she was in the third, you know, or she wasn't in the fourth. She was only in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So, I think they're going to follow that style and maybe just keep the main players. Like we got Carla, I forget what her last name is in real life. The one with the gray hair, the mother that played the mother in the first season.
The dad in the first season.
Yeah.
The uncle in this season.
So I think them and like Nell, Luke, I think they're going to be really main players that stick around for like the whole season because they are incredible actors. But Carla, I think her last name is Gugino. I don't know how to pronounce it. Y'all can correct me. But what is her role? We didn't even talk about that. Who is she? Is she just they call her the storyteller in the subtitles?
I literally think that because when we first see it, they're in Bly Manor, right, for that wedding.
Right.
She's always been there.
In 2007. The Bly Manor storyline with the wedding has to take place after the Danny storyline because the storyteller, you know, she's the storyteller in the subtitles that we've seen, is telling the story as if it happened in the past. And she's telling it as if she knows what happens. I don't know if that's just like a convention that they're using because it's based on a book. Like we saw that even in season 1 with Steve. Steve was the narrator. He was like in Hill House, you know, the 300 years ago. But that was because he was the author of the books about Hill House. Yeah. So what is this storyteller's role in this season? How are they explaining that? Because she clearly, if she's not Danny, then she has to have knowledge of Danny's thoughts and feelings because she's telling a story about it.
I like what you said before about maybe she's Flora.
Yeah.
She might be Flora, but I have like such like a strong feeling that she's Danny.
But the
like,
accent though.
Yeah, but you know, maybe she's like, it's just having an accent because of where she is and just like playing it off.
Does that happen though? Does that actually happen?
I mean, I think that could happen. You adapt the accent, like maybe.
Once you've learned a language and you have an accent of your own, you think if I moved to London right now, that I would just, after like, let's say I lived there for 50 years, the rest of my life, you think I would somewhere in that 50 years develop a British accent? I don't think that's a thing.
You're pretty young. You could probably do it.
I don't know. Or maybe she's covering it up, whatever happened.
But that's what I'm saying. She could be faking an accent to be like she lives there because everyone else has an accent there.
Maybe.
And she's just playing it off.
Maybe.
And she even made a small pass about how like she did the fake British accent before during the interview.
She?
Yeah, she did a fake.
Danny.
Yeah, she did a fake British accent.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that could be something. That's what I was trying to say before.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm the most. That's like my main question is how that storyteller and that storyline relates to Bly Manor, because I feel like that's going to be the biggest gag of the season of figuring out who she is in relation to that storyline. So.
And what about why what's her name doesn't eat?
Oh, Miss Gross or whatever.
Miss Gross. It's kind of gross. She doesn't eat.
Very funny, Slade. I don't know.
I feel like she might be a spirit too.
You said she was a monster.
Not
you
a
didn't
monster.
say spirit. You said she was a fucking monster.
Not a monster. No, you said she was a monster. I said she wasn't human. You're like, what, like a monster? I was like, no,
Yeah,
not
so
a monster.
what other non-human thing would she be?
A spirit. She could definitely
You think
fully
she's a spirit?
be like.
Oh, so
I
she
don't know
doesn't
how
eat food? She feeds off of
She
nothing
didn't
because
even
she's
touch
a
her
spirit?
tea, and that could be because
She
the tea
didn't touch
wasn't
her
good.
tea.
But she could, like, I feel like in Luke, I don't know his name in this, but Luke, he fully vanished. I feel like they can be like.
He fully vanished.
fully like spirits.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like they could just be spirits, and like you could like touch them and everything, because spirits still have energy. But
And the 4 candles. What if Mrs. Gross is the 4th candle?
oh my god! Wait, and
We
then what
fucking
about
cracked
we
it.
cracked the kids?
All these people know something fundamental about this house that they're just not telling to this poor woman. But I think that I feel like Dani's gonna defy what we are expecting, and she's gonna be very brave and kind of not give a fuck. Because she maybe already has experiences.
I think she has paranormal experiences with that thing, so it's not going to like affect her as much.
Yeah.
And the house might even know that, like the house itself and the energy in it, and that's why like
Yeah.
I don't really have an answer for the whole closet thing.
I know.
But like I feel like that's going to come back in,
Yeah.
and I don't think that they were protecting her because they told her not to go out at nighttime.
I think they were doing some shit while she was in there. She was passed out, so we didn't hear
and the
anything.
footsteps
Did
that
we
go
hear
outside.
Oh yeah, they did some shit. They did some shit.
Footprints, whatever you want to call them.
Maybe they went to go talk to Jessel in the lake. So I don't know. I'm gonna. Do you have any predictions for the next episode?
I want to get into it.
Yeah, I kind of do too. But yeah, I guess those are all of our thoughts. We're gonna get into episode 2 right now. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Check out my other reactions if you have not already, and we will see you guys for episode 2.
Okay.
All right, bye guys.